Hi, my name is Gae Culver. My wife and I have been members of Evangelical Bible Church since 1979, and we have seen the hand of the Lord at work here in many, many ways. There's some here that I'm sure can still remember the initial pastor, the first pastor, Alan Fadel, and his precious wife, Jane, and what a couple, what a heart to serve the Lord they had, and what an effect on the booming ministry that we had back at that time. And there was an oil boom going on here in Dickinson at that time. The ministries included a great musical ministry, a great teaching ministry. Some of you may remember Myron Losey, what a godly man he was. The different ministries of Awana and Alcohol Anonymous and the women's groups and the potlucks, some of my favorites. In 1982, we saw a real bust, real drop in the economy here in regards to what was happening in the city of Dickinson, and many people left this area. From EBC in particular, we lost a lot of real close friends, really affected a lot of the ministries that were going on. And at that time, we continued here as a church. It's smaller, definitely in size, but we saw that things, we were struggling financially. And one of the reasons had to do with the debt that had been incurred from the initial building project that had begun when the church was built. Board member, there's many things that we had to consider when we were struggling, and of course one of them was the debt. How do we take care of that? What do we do? I mean, there was times we considered, well, do we just close the place down, walk away from that? We saw a lot of the things like that, houses, businesses abandoned here in Dickinson during this time. And we also thought, well, maybe we could just sell it. That was a good laugh, huh? If people were walking away from things, how did we think we could sell? We had no answers. We did not. And at that time, all we could do was either blame someone for our problems or go to the Lord and trust Him. It's easy when things are going tough to blame people and wonder how come things didn't work out, and always that big why question, aren't they going just like we had planned them? We didn't have answers like that, but I'm thankful that God did, and that He heard our cries at that time as we called out to Him in faith and trusted Him. And it's interesting, the plan He had for us. I do think in that plan God wanted to teach us something, and again, the plan He had wasn't necessarily a big Hollywood glamorous plan or something flashy, but it was to find out if we would listen to Him, if we would obey Him. What we found out is every time we did what He said, it always worked. Every time we trusted Him, every time we believed Him for something and listened, followed His precepts, His principles, it worked. Again, as we listened to Him and did as He said, we did come out of debt. It took us a while, but by 1993, we had retired all the debt on the church, and what a great feeling that was. What a liberating time that was for us as a congregation. We knew that we could start to involve ourselves and really grow in some ministries that we had hoped to grow in, whether it was sending out missionaries or reaching out in the community, whatever it was. But we were free to do that now without any debt. Now, as we look into this new building project, that's again our hope. That's the board's vision now, to really stay debt-free. And how that will happen, we're not sure. We don't have the end picture yet, but we know who does. And so that's why we're today asking that you trust with us. The board has decided that we want to try and do this project as debt-free as possible. I know that sounds like kind of wishy-washy, but up until now we've been able to, and as we trust Him, That's what we're going to continue to do. It might mean it won't get done as fast as I want it done, but it will get done in God's timing. So we're asking that you come alongside us, each and every one of you, as you can, purpose in your heart to help us get this project done to where people's lives, especially the new families and the children, their hearts and lives are affected for eternity. That's our vision as a church board.